In the 5th year of being his canary, I got pregnant. I remembered how David had warned me not to covet what wasn't mine when we first got together. I trembled, frantically searching online for ways to escape without a hitch that very night. Luckily, heaven heard my prayer and his first love, the one that got away, got divorced. I quickly left a note and ran off. Asterisk, she's back. I, the stand-in, won't bother you anymore. I wish you happiness. Asterisk. 3 days later, I was at the spa waiting for the masseuse. A man's rough hand pressed onto my skin, and a voice whispered in my ear, "Baby, who's spreading rumors that you're just a stand-in?" It was already midnight. I'd been lying in bed for over an hour, tossing and turning, my mind filled with a jumble of things I couldn't shake off. I felt for the phone on the nightstand and idly scrolled through short videos. Less than 3 minutes later, a call popped up at the top of the screen. Recognizing his contact name, I dropped the phone as if electrocuted. It rolled around on the bed before tumbling onto the floor. In the darkness, the light from the screen changed colors as the video played. The harsh ringing echoed in the empty bedroom. The first call went unanswered and disconnected automatically. Damn it, I missed his call. He didn't call again. The second time was a video call. I turned on the room light and quickly bent down to pick up the phone. His smug face appeared in the center of the screen. It was still afternoon where he was, the sky the burning color of dusk. I beat him to the punch. "Why are you calling me in the middle of the night?" The man chuckled. "Baby, it's midnight back home. Why aren't you sleeping?" "Watching videos. Can't sleep without me holding you." He came up with a reason for me, so I just went with it. "Yeah." He lightly tapped his desk. "Just a few more days. Things are busy here. I'll wrap things up as soon as possible and return home." I wasn't really listening to anything he said, just mumbled vague responses. "I really should just tie you to my waist and take you on business trips." I ignored him, my eyes fixed on the paper taped to the nightstand on my right. On it was written, "Pregnancy test results." I was pregnant. It happened on the 3rd day after David went abroad. I'd been excessively sleepy for the past few days and thought something was wrong with me. So I went to the hospital for a checkup. When I got the report, my hands and feet turned ice cold. David happened to call and ask why I was at the hospital. "I've been tired lately, so I went to the hospital to see what was up." David's voice was lazy. "You're always like a little pig, sleeping all the time. Can't get up if you don't sleep 10 hours a day." To keep him from noticing anything unusual, I retorted, "You're the little pig. I'm the little pig feeder." David stopped laughing. "What did the doctor say?" I instinctively touched my stomach and lied. "The doctor said it might be psychological. I'm just too bored, so I keep sleeping." David believed that explanation and asked his niece, Jessica, to come keep me company. After seeing her off that evening, I couldn't sleep at all. The apartment David arranged for me was huge. A spacious downtown apartment, 3,200 square feet with only 2 bedrooms, a master and a second bedroom. The master bedroom was enormous and empty, with only sparse furniture. I used to buy dolls to fill the empty space, but David called it childish, so I stopped. A year passed and his apartment was still empty, lacking any warmth or personality. I didn't like it. I sat on the bathroom floor, the pregnancy test results in front of me. I was screwed. I was pregnant. If David found out, he'd definitely think I got pregnant on purpose with ill intentions, trying to climb the ladder. But I hadn't thought of anything like that. Should I secretly get an abortion? After agonizing for a long time, I remembered he was already 30, and besides me, his canary, he hadn't kept anyone else. What if he wanted kids? And I went ahead and made the decision myself. A shiver ran down my spine. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. How did I get pregnant? Damn it, I wish I hadn't gone on that business trip with him last month. I stuffed the report back into my bag, feeling utterly hopeless. After getting ready and lying in bed, the best option was still to get him to dump me first, get some compensation from him, and then leave. How could I get him to dump me? I opened my messaging app and texted Jessica. "Jessica, did your uncle ever have a girlfriend before?" "No, he never dated anyone for 25 years before he finally got into a relationship. I used to always beg him to find me an auntie, but he'd say kids shouldn't meddle in adults' business." I was extremely disappointed. How could he not even have an ex-girlfriend? Jessica asked what was wrong. While thinking of other solutions, I casually replied, "Nothing." Jessica didn't reply. After a long time, she carefully texted back, "Did you hear some rumors? Those are all fake. I can testify my uncle really never dated anyone." Jessica was the type who couldn't keep a secret. When I didn't reply, she started spilling the beans. "He really went to France for a business trip this time, and it had nothing to do with Victoria. Victoria has been married for so long. Who is my uncle? He wouldn't be so desperate as to be the other man for a married woman, right? Don't listen to anyone talking nonsense. You and Victoria really don't look alike, truly. Well, maybe a little, but definitely not as ridiculously as they say, not 70%. Maybe 50%? No, you don't look alike at all. I sensed something was off. I look a lot like someone else? My eyes lit up and I wanted to ask more. But I saw Jessica withdraw all the messages. Then she added, "You didn't see that, right?" I saw it, I saw everything. To keep Jessica from worrying, I waited 5 minutes before replying. "What did you withdraw?" I wasn't looking at my phone just now. I was so thoughtful. Victoria was David's high school classmate. After scrolling through the social media posts of 21 mutual friends, I finally found a photo in David's mom's album. It was a high school graduation photo. I zoomed in again, and zoomed in further. Below the main photo section, I saw a girl who indeed looked 70% like me. Checking the name at the bottom of the photo, yep, it was Victoria. I was overjoyed. I knew it. When I first met him, David's gaze was strange. It turned out I looked like his first love, the one that got away. Checking further, Victoria got married 5 years ago, and I started seeing David 5 years ago. After a lot of digging, I finally tracked down his Instagram/Twitter, and managed to find out where he was. He was currently in Paris, and David was also in Paris. Even more exciting, Victoria had complained about her unhappy marriage in several posts recently, and officially divorced a week ago. Oh boy, where there's a will, there's a way. Thank heavens. I really am your most beloved granddaughter. I was so happy the worries that had plagued me all day vanished like smoke. I pulled the covers over my head and had a wonderful sleep. The first thing I did when I woke up the next day was check Victoria's Instagram/Twitter. She didn't disappoint, posting, "Met an old friend." I checked my phone. 7 a.m. here, which was 12 p.m. in France. I wondered if sparks flew between those long-lost lovers. David had honed his skills on me for 5 years. He shouldn't disappoint her. I hummed a tune as I got ready. Suddenly, I received messages from David. 2 messages. Both said, "I love you." Before, I would have been scared to death. But now I knew why he was in France. As everyone knows, people, both men and women, feel guilty during their free time after cheating. I was thoughtful. Got it. It's late. Get some rest. He called me again. His voice was hazy, breathing heavily into the receiver. Let's get married. Was he talking nonsense out of guilt? Or did he dial the wrong number? He'd definitely want to kick himself when he sobered up tomorrow. I made an excuse for him, giving him an easy way out. Are you drunk? Just a little. I showed concern. Then get some rest. Sarah, I want to get married. Oh, so he didn't dial the wrong number. He was just drunk. I bit my toothbrush, wondering how to reply. He said again, "I'm coming back home the day after tomorrow. Wait for me at home like a good girl." I nodded, remembering he couldn't see me, and replied, "Okay." David didn't hang up. I didn't know whether to brush my teeth or not. Thankfully, he noticed I was brushing and made a request before hanging up. "Baby, I want to hear you say you love me." I indulged him. "I love you." "Who do you love?" "David." "Baby, I want to hear the full sentence." I mumbled, "I love you, David." I thought to myself, if only he'd dump me, I'd love him even more. Victoria returned home a day earlier than David. She had lived abroad for 5 years and was now settling back home. Her friends arranged a welcome party. That day, I saw a post on her social media feed that she had forgotten to block me from. The photo was of Victoria. Why did she forget to block me? Because I used a messaging app secondary account to secretly view a few strangers' profiles, the kind where you can see the last 10 posts. Sure enough, they had all blocked me. So, I commented on the only post I could see, "Who is he?" A minute later, that post disappeared from my view too. But I had saved the photo. Satisfied, I printed out the color photo. I also printed out David's high school graduation photo. I placed both photos on the living room coffee table, making sure David would see them the moment he returned. I tore off a sticky note and quickly scribbled, "She's back. The stand-in won't bother you anymore. I wish you happiness. P.S. If you'd like to give me compensation, please transfer the cash to my bank card ending in 1603. Thank you." Asterisk. After doing all that, I dragged my suitcase out of the apartment I'd lived in for 5 years. Woohoo, I was free. I changed my phone. He had installed tracking and all sorts of monitoring devices on the old one. He knew exactly where I went and what I did every day. I had no secrets from him. Now my phone was empty. There was nothing on it. Felt great not being monitored. I didn't log into my old social media accounts. I'd do that after I went out and had some fun. Of course, I downloaded my mobile banking app. Every now and then, I'd check if David had transferred any money. Sadly, it seemed he wasn't planning on giving me a severance package. Ugh, he was so stingy. 5 years. 5 years. Such an obedient canary. And he wouldn't even give me severance pay. What a cheapskate. After my bath, I stripped naked and lay on the bed, playing a mindless game, waiting for the masseuse to give me a massage. Outside the door, I heard soft footsteps. The door creaked open. Bang, the door closed. I casually asked, Got the massage oil ready? The masseuse replied with a very soft I. I was engrossed in the cheerful music of my game and lazily said, "You can start now." The masseuse didn't speak. A hand rested on my back. This touch felt a little familiar. His hand was big, a little rough like David's. I originally wanted to turn my head and look, but my game told me time was almost up. This spa was so expensive and I'd been here before, surely nothing would go wrong. The hand roamed on my waist, the scent of the massage oil spread. But why was the masseuse's technique so bad this time? It didn't feel like a massage. I didn't feel relaxed at all. Instead, I felt hot all over. The game ended. I put down my phone and was about to turn my head when a cool lip suddenly pressed against the back of my neck. My body stiffened. I didn't dare move. The kiss moved from my neck upwards. A man's hoarse voice suddenly appeared. "Baby, did you miss me?" I stammered. You're back home?" He nipped my earlobe. I heard the sound of a belt being unbuckled. Clang, the metal buckle hit the floor. I grabbed the bath towel, wanting to get up, but he hooked me into his arms with a long reach. I couldn't stop trembling. Didn't Victoria get divorced and move back home? Why are you looking for a stand-in like me? David turned me around to face him. He lightly cupped my chin, forcing me to tilt my head back and look him in the eye. His eyes were very deep, his voice completely hoarse. His fingertip traced my eyebrows and eyes. The air was filled with the unreal soft fragrance of iris. "Baby, who spread the rumor that you're just a stand-in? Lying even to my wife? How about we send them to dig mines in Africa?" He picked me up. The last layer of barrier fell away. David's gaze traced over me wantonly. I bit my lip and looked away. The room was lit with warm yellow light, originally meant to help guests relax, but now filled with unspoken tension. He lowered his head and kissed my lips, gently and coaxingly. "Baby, you're not a stand-in. I don't like Victoria. Not in the past, not now, not ever. I only like you." Damn, I hadn't expected this. Could it be he actually liked me? I was stunned. But I look a lot like her. David kissed me until I felt breathless. I whimpered before he let go. He was too close. His breath was warm against my skin. Our hearts pressed close, one fast, one slow, gradually beating in sync. He cupped my face, his tone slightly gritted. "Emichim." I couldn't think of any way to describe it at the moment. In short, he looked a little angry and a little helpless. He said, "I only found out you looked alike today. Baby, you graduated years ago. Do you really remember what your high school classmates looked like?" My mind raced. I realized I only remembered a few high school classmates I was close to. I couldn't even remember most of their names. "But you definitely remember someone you had a crush on." David's eyes turned instantly dangerous. "Who did you have a crush on in high school?" I shut my mouth. He carried me to the bed. I felt like a lamb to the slaughter, looking up and waiting for the butcher's cleaver. "I'll give you 3 minutes to think carefully. Don't hide anything from me." He slowly began to take off his clothes. His suit jacket came off, his vest came off, his shirt. I reminded him, "We're in someone else's place." David chuckled. "I already took care of it. If you really mind, baby, I'll just buy the place." But I had a million things I wanted to say. Finally, meeting his deep, dark eyes, I couldn't say anything. "Forget it. Do what you want." He wasn't in a good mood, best not to provoke him. Maybe the baby in my womb sensed the danger. Maternal instinct made me shield my stomach. Maybe I wouldn't have to get an abortion after all. Maybe he'd get angry and I'd lose the baby tonight. I wondered if miscarrying hurt. My chest felt tight and uncomfortable. Might as well close my eyes and bury my head in the sand. I waited for a long time, but David made no move. I opened my eyes and saw him frowning, his eyes dark and shadowed. "Sarah, I didn't lie to you." "Lie about what?" I wasn't sure what he meant. He didn't say anything else. He bent down and wrapped me in a bath towel, telling me not to catch a cold. "We'll talk about this when we get home." David carried me out of the spa. Damn it, he doesn't like Victoria? What am I going to do? I held my phone, the anxiety from the past few days returning. In the car, I played on my phone and looked out the window, unable to settle down. The anxiety lasted until he took me back to that minimalist, cold apartment. David didn't like buying things. The apartment looked no different than it did 5 years ago, except for the extra slippers by the door and the cartoon mug on the table, proof that a second person lived here. The moment I stepped through the door, I couldn't tell if it was 5 years ago or 5 years later. He poured a cup of warm water. I held the mug and took small sips. He didn't say anything, just watched me. For a moment I forgot how I used to interact with him. The last time we were alone together was a week ago. This past week had been too chaotic. I really felt like I had amnesia. David was still there after I finished the water. I felt restless. I pretended there was still water in the mug, covering my face with the ceramic mug. He suddenly coughed. I quickly asked, "Are you getting a cold?" He took my mug. Don't drink if there's no water. I'll get some. He tugged at my collar, pressing me back onto the sofa. Don't wander off. Sit still. I sat obediently, waiting for his instructions. David knelt before me. I had a very bad feeling and immediately stood up. Oh right, you haven't eaten since you got back home, have you? What do you want to eat? I'll make something. David's face turned cold, and he pushed me back onto the sofa again. I'm not hungry, I said pitifully, but I'm hungry. He took a small box from his pocket. What to do? What should I do? I'm hungry. No, I need to go to the bathroom. Maybe I should pretend to faint later? Will he pinch me awake? Click, the small box opened. Such a big diamond. And it was pink. It must be expensive. No, this wasn't about the money right now. Oh God, the more nervous I got, the more my mind raced. Sarah Leong, will you marry? I raised my voice, cutting him off. I'm pregnant. David's expression was grim. I threw away the pregnancy test results from last time. There's no evidence that I'm pregnant. I can go to the hospital for a blood test, or a pregnancy test can measure it too. If you don't believe me, I can order takeout. He didn't speak. I bit my lip. Last month on the cruise ship I lost my bag. I couldn't find anywhere to buy the pills. I thought since I'd taken them for so many years nothing would go wrong. I shouldn't have been so complacent. Still no response. It was too quiet. I felt a little scared. I lowered my head. The baby is yours. You know that. I wouldn't dare be with anyone else. After I finished speaking, David's expression was even grimmer than before. And? What else? Haven't I said everything I needed to? I didn't dare look up. When did you find out you were pregnant? I answered immediately. Last week, when I told you I was tired because of psychological reasons. So, David gripped my chin. You knew you were pregnant long ago and lied to me. His grip was a little too hard. Suppressing my instinct to pull back, I replied. I'm sorry. He sneered. You didn't tell me at the spa, and you only decided to tell me when I proposed? Sarah, you've got some nerve. If I hadn't stopped just now, what were you planning to do? I wasn't planning anything. It's not like I could refuse him. I hugged my knees, curled myself into a ball, my mind blank. I could only mechanically repeat. I'm sorry. He gripped my hand hard. Sarah. Hearing his command, I looked up. His lips twisted into a grim smile. Are you really that afraid of me? I was sold to David. Which would drop first, the stocks or a person's body? 5 years ago, I got my answer to that question. When I received the police notification, I was in the cafeteria, agonizing over what to eat for lunch. I dismissed the sudden news of his death as a joke, until the person on the phone accurately stated Dad's information. Police tape went up around the complex. Mom had a heart attack from the shock and couldn't be saved. In one night, I lost everything. The law stated that debts died with the person if the inheritance wasn't claimed. But Dad's debts weren't just from legitimate sources. At my parents' funeral, a group of men in black suits barged in. The leader grabbed my chin. Huh? Not bad looking. A normal person in this situation would be terrified, but I had just gone through a family tragedy, and nothing could faze me anymore. I just softly requested. Could I please finish the funeral first? I'll be obedient. They were loan sharks involved in some shady dealings. Dad and Mom didn't leave me anything but this face in the mirror, which inherited all their best features. It became my chance to survive. Meeting David was purely by chance. I wasn't there to accompany David, but his business partner. In the dimly lit private room, I passed by him, wearing a little black dress so short it barely reached my thighs, and accidentally tripped and fell. I swear I didn't do it on purpose, the floor was just too slippery. Anyway, I fell right onto him. I quickly got up and fixed my dress, seeing his strange gaze look right through me, lost in memory. I apologized softly and started to leave, but he grabbed my wrist and pulled me into his arms. He asked, "What's your name?" I replied, "Sarah Kent." My name is Sarah Kent. Some things just fell into place naturally. If it hadn't been him, it would have been someone else. I was a little afraid of him, not because he always left me bruised, but because on that first night he sat by the bed. It was a moonless night. Light filtered in from the gap in the drab black curtains, illuminating his face, one side shadowed, one side bright. I clutched the blanket, quietly waiting for his instructions. "You're studying at State University." I nodded. "I'm a junior. You can keep studying." He turned to me, and then the stars seemed to fall, plunging him into darkness. "Move in with me." I obediently replied, "Okay." He made a gesture of touching his stomach. I asked with concern, "Does your stomach hurt? Is it because you've been drinking? If you have stomach problems, you should drink less." In novels I used to read, rich people always had problems, and stomach problems were the most common. In the dark, his fingertip traced my lips. "Trying to take care of me now?" I froze for a moment, then shook my head. No, no. He chuckled. Just be good. You'll get what's due to you. The unspoken meaning was, don't think about things you shouldn't, don't meddle in things you shouldn't. I knew that. David appeared at a strange turning point in my life. In the first year we were together, I was cautious and nervous, afraid of upsetting him. Aside from being rough with me, his temper was usually pretty good. Gradually I grew bolder. When he gave me my 22nd birthday party, all the lights in the room were out, only the cake candles burning brightly. In the flames I saw his face. He asked what I wished for. Will you make it come true? He said he would. I wanted to be with him forever. I won't say what I wish for. They say if you say it out loud it won't come true. I started to boldly cling to him, asking him to help me with my thesis, making him sit with me when my advisor yelled at me. When I was tired I'd lean on his shoulder and close my eyes for a nap. Whenever I fell asleep like that, he'd always carry me back to bed. One day I woke up and the apartment felt empty. Aside from the cleaner who came to tidy up, there was only him and me. It was so desolate. I bought dolls and little knickknacks, spending a whole day putting them everywhere, from the living room to the bedroom. After I tidied the place up, it felt much warmer, like a home. I waited at home for David to return. When he came home and saw the house looking completely different, he paused. I wrapped my arms around his neck and acted playfully. Doesn't it feel cozy? Childish. It's not childish at all. Come on, tell me, doesn't it feel cozy? He cupped my backside and gave it a squeeze. David didn't approve of my decorating style. I was a little angry, so I didn't hug him. I went to sleep hugging my doll. When I woke up, David was holding me from behind. The doll in my arms was gone. I looked around and saw it had been thrown in the trash. It was so close, but I couldn't reach it. The screen of my phone on the nightstand lit up. It was a message from one of the debtors. This month's repayment date was coming up again. I woke up as if from a dream. The next day I threw away everything I had bought. David frowned. Why did you get rid of it? I was eating a cookie. It looked strange, I wasn't used to it. Better just leave it the way it was. Seeing me holding a throw pillow, he asked, did you throw away the dolls you bought too? I casually replied, they were too annoying, I don't like them anymore. David ruffled my hair. Then let's buy something else. I don't want to buy anything. The dolls didn't want to end up in the trash. The year I graduated college, David helped me revise my resume and submit applications. I didn't graduate from a prestigious university, and coupled with the family problems during my junior year, my grades weren't great. Thankfully, I managed to get a job at a really good company. The company culture was great and I really liked going to work. My team leader was an upperclassman from my university. Because we went to the same school, he took special care of me. Other colleagues would hint around, asking if I had a boyfriend. I thought they were just gossiping. I rested my chin in my hand and smiled, replying, no, but you don't need to set me up with anyone. The office wasn't that big, and the news spread like wildfire. It seemed like Mark was interested in me. I bit on my pen cap, slacked off at work searching online. How to subtly reject someone. After work, downstairs from the office, I waited for 2 minutes until Mark showed up. I asked him to talk privately to clear things up. He looked disappointed. Finally, he asked, can I hug you? This was the first time I'd ever turned someone down. Before, if someone pursued me, I'd just ignore them. But this time I didn't want to lose this job. I agreed. He gave me a light hug. A cold gaze hit me from the side. I turned my head and saw David leaning against the door of a Maybach, smiling at me. Right in front of Mark, he grabbed my wrist and threw me into the back seat. Before the car door closed, I saw Mark's stunned face. I looked down and sent him a text. I know him, I'm okay. David's lips curved slightly. You like him that much? I shook my head. No, I don't like him. He pulled off his tie and tied me up. I watched the streetlights blur overhead, hoping David wouldn't stay angry for too long. Much later, he held me satisfied. Sarah, quit your job. I can support you. I gripped his clothes, my eyes welling up. But I really like working. He stroked my hair, his voice hoarse. Find a different company. Sarah's a good girl, you'll listen to me, won't you? Later, I got a job at a smaller company. The pay was even better than the last one. I worked there for half a year and really hit my stride. At the end of the year, the company organized a team-building trip abroad. They chose a Southeast Asian country. I felt happy again, packing my bags, getting ready to go abroad. David leaned against the doorframe. It's not safe there. You're not going. It took me all night, leaving me completely exhausted, just to get him to change his mind. But it turned out there really was trouble on that trip. It hit me then, the reason this small company paid so well was to kidnap employees. I was in a foreign country, locked in a crowded room with colleagues who had been trafficked alongside me. A male colleague tried to resist and was beaten half to death. I was shivering and didn't dare move. I wished I'd listened to David and hadn't gone. My mind was a mess, thinking about everything from what my bank card PIN was to whether my inheritance would be confiscated. I thought about a lot of things. But rescue came sooner than I expected. In the dust stirred up from the dilapidated wooden door, light took on a physical form. David burst through the hazy light, pulling me into a tight embrace. He told me not to be scared. The mercenaries he brought saved us poor souls. I trembled in his arms. He arranged for me to rest on the top floor of the exclusive club. I woke up in the middle of the night and he wasn't there. I hurried downstairs. He had already taken control of the place. I walked unimpeded to the first floor. I gently pushed open the private room door, and just happened to see a beautiful woman walking towards him. She was wearing very high heels. Maybe the floor was too slippery, she fell straight towards David. Before she could fall into his arms, the bodyguards beside him dragged her away. The woman was babbling in a foreign language I didn't understand, and the bodyguards grabbed her hair and slammed her head hard against the wall. I froze, my limbs turning to jelly. David saw me and waved the others in the room away. He put his jacket on the table as a cushion and told me to sit down. Why did you come downstairs? I. My ability to form words was damaged by the shock of what I'd just seen. Thankfully, I didn't need to say much. I missed you. I was severely traumatized after being rescued. He coaxed me to sleep and then left. Now, he checked me all over for injuries. In the flashy private room of the exclusive club, he asked with a chuckle, "You missed me, but you just stood there watching?" I trembled in his arms, that scene flashing before my eyes again. I couldn't tell if this time I was trembling from comfort or fear. I wanted to take back my 22nd birthday wish. I didn't want to be with him anymore. I didn't want the next person being watched like that to be me. After returning home, I lost my job again. David wouldn't let me find another job. My daily routine became accompanying him, going to work with him, cooking for him, picking him up after work. But the shadow of it never left me. I started being afraid of him again. In the 4th year we were together, I was even more afraid than I was 4 years ago. I tried my best not to upset him. I did everything he asked, being his most obedient canary. But it was so exhausting. When would he finally get tired of me? I hugged myself, afraid to move. He was really angry this time. I cautiously tugged at his sleeve. "Please don't be angry. It's all my fault. I won't lie to you next time." His gaze dropped. "Why did you hide it from me?" "I didn't want a baby. If he knew, he'd probably make me have it. If I accepted his proposal, I'd definitely have to have it. Dad and Mom abandoned me. What if something happened to me later, and I ended up abandoning the baby too? Life is so hard. A child shouldn't have to be as tired as I am. You could have told me. We could have discussed it." I mumbled. "You wouldn't agree." He didn't even agree to let me keep working. How could he possibly agree to let me get an abortion? "I'll marry you. Please don't be angry. If you want the baby, I'll have it. I'll be good." David didn't say anything for a long time. I didn't either. I curled myself back up, shrinking into the corner. The last ray of light slowly streamed from my fingertips and finally disappeared. The sun had set. David stroked my head, his voice dry and rough. "When's the abortion appointment?" "I'll go with you the day after tomorrow. If you don't want it, you don't have to have it." I was stunned. He knelt before me, took out the ring box again, and slipped the huge pink diamond onto my left ring finger. "Sarah, you don't have to be so good. If you want to work, you can tell me. I was just afraid something would happen to you. I wasn't forcing you to do exactly what I wanted." He adjusted the ring and leaned down and kissed my fingertip. "Did I ever tell you I met you a long time ago?" I shook my head. "No. I'll tell you about it later." David's perspective. Sarah changed the house to a very fresh style, one she liked. When I got home, I almost thought I'd come to the wrong place. She clung to me and asked if it felt cozy. The black and white room, she decorated it in pink. It didn't match at all. I didn't have the heart to criticize her taste, so I just said it was childish. She chattered. "It's not childish at all." Because of those 2 words, she pestered me all night. I just threw her on the bed and quieted her down by messing with her. But she got even angrier, hugging her doll and turning her back to me. I couldn't coax her no matter what. After she fell asleep, I pulled the doll out of her arms and tossed it aside, and held her myself instead of the doll. The doll fell in the trash. Serves it right. What a stupid doll, competing with me for her. I searched online and saw she had bought dolls in many styles. I had someone collect all the others and send them over. The next day, she dismantled the place again, and it was desolate once more. All the dolls she bought were gone too. I frowned. "Why did you get rid of them?" She was eating a cookie. It looked strange, I wasn't used to it. Better just leave it the way it was. She actually noticed that pink didn't match black and white. She was improving. I looked around and saw she had thrown away the dolls too. She casually said she didn't like them anymore. I paused. "Oh really? I had those damn dolls collected for nothing." She got tired of them so quickly. I waited for her to buy new ones to change the style to redecorate the room. But after that, she never brought anything into the house again. She was a little strange. She wrapped her arms around my waist and softly said, "David, kiss me." All right, maybe not strange. Just as clingy as ever. On a business trip today, I ran into someone unexpected. Her former colleague, someone who had pursued her, who had even hugged her. I remember people and those close to them very clearly. That naturally included Mark. He clearly remembered me too. After work, he came after me. His boss tried to stop him. I told his boss it was fine. Only then did he ask me, "What's your relationship with Sarah?" Question 5 years too late. I glanced at him coolly. "Can't you tell what my relationship with her is?" "No." I sneered. "I'm her boyfriend. We've been together for 5 years. He interrupted me. "That's impossible. 3 years ago she said she was single." I frowned. "What?" Mark pressed. "What did you do to her?" "She deleted all her colleagues' contact information and blocked us. I couldn't reach her at all." I ignored the rest of what he said. "She said she was single?" Mark confirmed it. I suddenly remembered back when she was still in school. One time I went to pick her up and I ran into her classmates. Her classmates were making suggestive faces, asking her what our relationship was. Sarah stammered for a long time. He's my brother." Back in the car, I pinned her down and kissed her. "Brother." Her cheeks flushed, looking alluring. "Isn't lover the same as brother?" I handled her roughly and made her call me brother for a month.